Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we have entered day 217 of the ongoing Russia-Ukrainian war, and things are getting serious and more serious day by day. First, if you look at what is happening near Liman, uh, Russian forces are quite possibly going to be encircled in this area. And then the question is what is going to be the Russian response? Right now, as I talked about in the previous video, to the north, the Ukrainians are looking to sever the kind of the main north-south route of supply to Russian forces that are located in Liman. And then to the east, Ukrainian forces are pressing towards the P60 highway and the vital P65 Kreminna junction. That essentially, if this is cut off in this area near Kreminna, and then the Ukrainians are able to sever the route via Makivka, then in all likelihood, these Russian forces would be then completely surrounded, unable to supply, and then what happens? Well, the battle continues, and Russia is steadily reinforcing its position in this area of the theater of operations, specifically to the northwest of Lysychansk. While at the same time, Ukrainian forces continue to pressure Russian forces in the direction of Lysychansk. And that's kind of what is happening right now in the eastern theater of operations. To the south, southwest, it is a de facto stalemate right now. The Ukrainians are really not able to press forward anymore in terms of its objective of seizing control of the Russian footprint on the western bank of the Dnieper River. The Russians have adequately reinforced this area and are continuing to defend this area tenaciously. But what we're also hearing is that this mobilization by Russian forces, by the Russian military, could be a lot bigger than what is being reported. The Russian Ministry of Defense was saying something around the number of 300,000 personnel could be conscripted into the Russian army, Russian military. But that number could become much, much higher very, very quickly. And it looks like Russia is preparing for a significant possible general mobilization. Now, will it be a national announcement in which they are saying that they are conducting a national mobilization? Difficult to say. But it does look like preparations are underway for the same sort of mobilization that we saw in Russia during World War II. And that's significant. Not only that, we're seeing preparations underway in Belarus for the deployment of possibly tens of thousands of Russian forces. Furthermore, Ukrainian intelligence is reporting that the use of a Russian tactical nuclear weapon against Ukrainian forces is high. Ukraine, at least, believes the possibility that Russia will deploy tactical nuclear weapons against its forces is very realistic. I talked about this before on a number of videos, and it's real. I do not believe the Russians are bluffing about the use of tactical nuclear weapons. Now, if tactical nuclear weapons are used, the media in the West is going to blow up, as will a lot of economies around the world. I am very concerned about that. What does it look like for the U.S. economy if and when the Russians use a tactical nuclear weapon? And I think it's going to have a great impact. But is it going to be overblown? Is the use of a tactical nuclear weapon going to be looked at as if the Russians have deployed a 1 megaton, a 100 kiloton nuclear device? Probably. And there's a big difference. So if there is the deployment of nuclear weapons by Russia, it's going to cause a lot of excitement. But I would say if you're watching this and you see it occur, don't overreact. Is it a massive escalation? It is. But if it's a low yield tactical nuclear weapon, it is not the same as using a 100, 200 kiloton or 300 kiloton or even a 1 megaton nuclear device. Completely different, really completely different weapon system. And but at the same time, if that happens, it is going to reverberate and it is going to appear as if by the media within at least the nuclear realm, it's all the same. I hope that makes sense. Because at least within the nuclear realm, tactical nuclear weapons are far different than your larger city killers, and it's something that I think the intelligence level of the people who watch this channel probably are aware of that and understand that. But if it happens in the media, you're going to hear something different. It is going to be as if the Russians have started using large city-killing nuclear weapon systems, when the reality is they're, again, tactical nuclear weapons. If you're a mile away from the detonation, you're probably going to be just fine. If you're half a mile away from a very low-yield nuclear weapons detonation, you're going to be okay. If you're a few hundred yards away, probably not so much. But we'll see what happens. But boy, I tell you, it's heating up, and it's heating up fast. And I don't think, at least the Western media, really understands how nasty this is getting. I mean, you look at what happened with the pipeline, the gas pipeline, Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. You know, who did that? Who knows? Was it Russia? Was it the United States? Was it Spetsnaz? Was it Navy SEALs? Difficult to say. Was it something else? Who knows? But that is in and of itself a sign that things are getting desperate. The United States, the NATO allies have injected an immense amount of both wealth, treasure, and weapons to Ukraine. So much so that stockpiles, European stockpiles of certain weapon systems, are starting to dwindle. In the United States Army is telling the political leadership at the White House, put the brakes on a little bit here. We need to build more weapon systems. The intensity of this conflict is very much on par with a conflict that you may have seen during the Cold War, if the balloon had gone up. Not quite, but definitely getting there. And again, we'll have to see what happens again in regards to the possible deployment of tactical nuclear weapons, this continued Russian mobilization. What are the Russians preparing for? Are they preparing for something outside of the scope of just fighting Ukraine? Well, they're definitely just fighting more than Ukraine, obviously. But could it expand into other areas? I think we'll know more in the months to come. I don't think this mobilization, you won't see the fruits of the mobilization at least until another 90 days to about 6 months. So middle of winter and then the summer of next year. But again, we'll be here to cover it, watch it, report it, and have discussions about it. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And again, thanks for joining us. More to come. And as always, have a good day.